Hey, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the director. I do a lot of Madden videos on this channel, but a couple weeks ago I decided to do one just about like NFL talk, what the Chargers are going to do at quarterback, and you guys seem to really like that. So I'm going to do these every once in a while, little specials on the director's channel, talking about Chargers football. Now, please keep in mind, I'm just a Chargers fan. I'm not a professional football analyst. I don't know what's going on in the draft half the time, but hey, I'm a Chargers fan that wants to talk Chargers football. But if you guys do have an opinion, I highly encourage you to leave it in the comment section below. I will be reading it. Let's just keep it civil. I can tell I really ticked some people off last time, but it's okay, man. We're here to have some fun. So today, I'm going to give you guys 4 Chargers offseason moves that could completely transform their O-line. Now, this process has already begun. Out is left tackle Russell Okung. In is right guard Trey Turner, a 5-time Pro Bowler at only 26 years old. Chargers fans, rejoice. This is a fantastic trade in our favor, and perhaps the first move this offseason to truly fix our offensive line woes, which, let's be honest, have been terrible for as long as we can remember. This is the year that we get this offensive line fixed. Let's take a look at our current offensive line situation. Left tackle, we got Trey Pipkins. Left guard, Dan Feeney. Center, Mike Pouncey. Right guard, Trey Turner. Right tackle, Sam Tevi. Turner is a great start and immediately becomes our best talent on the line, but there are still concerns revolving heavily around our tackle positions. I don't think there's anyone in the comment section that wants to roll out with Sam Tevi, but let's take a look at the other side. The team loves Trey Pipkins and see him as a starter at left tackle. I'm okay with this as he showed great development last year and he held up Frank Clark on his own week 17, so there's potential there. But what about right tackle? Bolts fans can tell you we have our reasons to fear Sam Tevi holding down the right side. I don't think he'll be the man the Chargers look to do that either. Here's the way we go about avoiding that. Let's enter in our first scenario. Enter right tackle Jack Conklin out of Tennessee. Most fans will opt for us to go after Jack Conklin, which is fair. He's an above average talent, young, and could hold down the position for years to come. At 25 years old, you could pair him with 26-year-old Trey Turner and gloat one of the best right sides in football. He'd come at a hefty price though, however. Conklin will likely see a contract in the ballpark of $87 million over 5 years. That's an average salary about $17 million per year. That's a yikes. That's a lot of money to dedicate just to that one position. But the Chargers, for the first time in what seems like forever, actually have money to spend. After the dust settles from the Travis Benjamin release and the Russell Okung trade, we should be anywhere in the realm of $50 to $60 million in cap space this season, and that we could still see some more stuff change during the offseason with cuts and stuff like that. We could fit in a player like Jack Conklin if the Bolts really wanted to. Now, that's honestly kind of a dream scenario. The right side of that line would be absolutely insane, but there's another very real scenario, which would be to sign right tackle, veteran right tackle Brian Bulaga out of Green Bay. It's obvious the Chargers want to see an improvement to our offensive line this season, and it kind of started already when we signed James Campen, former offensive line coach for the Packers. Now, Brian Bulaga, he's a bit older, 31 years old. He's expected to hit free agency in a few short weeks, and it's very possible his former offensive line coach Campen will want to add his former right tackle to the Bolts roster. Bulaga is a solid talent at the position. I think to the term underrated, never made a Pro Bowl, but the guy, man, he's helped Aaron Rodgers propel himself into stardom, and I think he could help the Chargers in a similar fashion in his twilight years. Be it on the wrong side of the age 30, but he's a proven player that can easily give the Bolts a huge upgrade over Sam Tevi. Brian Bulaga, Sam Tevi, I'm going to let you guys choose. He would also come with a much cheaper price than Jack Conklin. I'd estimate he'd cost around $30 million over 3 years with a yearly salary of $10 million. Now, that's much friendlier to our cap space and screams of a coupon Tom Telesco offseason move, potentially. This will be a huge move for the Bolts, but it does come with its con. He's seen some injuries in the past and has only played a full 16 games twice in his career, although one of them was just last season, so there's reason to be optimistic that he can do it again. And my hope is that we go all out and try and get Jack Conklin. That would be amazing. The right side of that line would be shored up for a long time, but my instincts tell me that we're gonna nab someone like Brian Bulaga, and in this case pair him up with his former offensive line coach. This has just happened, guys. This trade that we did with the Panthers with Trey Turner and Russell Okung, our old offensive line coach is now in Carolina, and that's something that he wanted to make happen. So it's not too uncommon in the league to see tackles follow their coaches to new areas. And honestly, Brian Bulaga would be fantastic. With Turner and Bulaga on the right side, we should see a massive boost and improvement to our offense just like that. Let's take an updated look at the line. Okay, left tackle, still Trey Pipkins. Left guard, Dan Feeney. Center, Mike Pouncey. Right guard, Trey Turner via trade. Right tackle, Brian Bulaga via free agency with a $10 million cap hit. And I still think there's a chance we get Brian Bulaga at a cheaper price. This is Tom Telesco we're talking about, the Coupon Tom. I think he can make something interesting happen there. There's also not a lot of interest from the Green Bay Packers to re-sign Bulaga, although Bulaga has stated that he does want to stay in Green Bay and finish his career there. But I think there's a good possibility that he's moving on, and I think the Chargers would be a good spot for him to continue his career. Now you look at this line, I'm already feeling pretty great about these changes, but I still hold obvious concern about our left side, our blind side. But a fun thing to think about is, what if this is the unit we roll out with in 2020? It's not bad, but definitely favors that right side. You can't help but think this line would be tailored to fit a left-handed quarterback. Perhaps a Tua Tagovailoa. You never know. There's a couple other guys I think the Chargers could consider in the free agency, although I don't want to spend too much money. I think if we decided to do that, I would definitely support it. Money should go towards the offensive line, and I'd 100% support that. So even moves like Jason Peters, 38 years old, we just let go of a 31-year-old Russell Okung. I still think I'd be fine with that, because one season, I don't know how much he would cost. I think I would be fine with that with 1 year with Jason Peters, who's still an elite talent. There's other guys that we could consider as well. Let's move on to the NFL draft, another interesting part of the season. This season touts some of the best depth at tackle we have ever seen. Viable starters can arguably be found through round 3, and I believe we're going to find someone to compete with Pipkins on the other side through the draft. Now, obviously, there's a lot of us who would love to see an elite offensive tackle taken by the Bolts with pick number 6. This is possible. Enter Mekhi Becton, tackle out of Louisville. If I call him Makai, I'm sorry, that's my son's middle name. That's how you pronounce it. This dude is a beast, an absolute beast. 6'7", 364 pounds. He still managed to clock a 5.1 on his 40 time. That's insane. Some will say that a 40 time for an offensive tackle doesn't matter. It does. It shows an unhuman athleticism for someone his size. That shows on the football field and gives James Campen a lot to work with as Becton continues to develop. He has experience playing both sides. He would bring monstrous size and athleticism to the position, shoring up that position for years. Now keep in mind, in this scenario, if we do have Mekhi Becton and Brian Bulaga, if it's more beneficial to develop Mekhi Becton at the right tackle position, we could easily move Bulaga to the left tackle and the line will look almost exactly the same. However, I do think that this class of tackles is so impressive, we could very well target a second or even third round talent to compete with Pipkins on the left side. Enter in Austin Jackson out of USC. This guy is a great prospect, 6'6", 310 pounds. Kid has exceptional potential to become something special in the NFL. He likely will need some decent coaching, which I'm sure Campen would be up for, and it adds excellent competition for the left tackle position between him and Pipkins. This frees us to do something that, in my opinion, is so vital to this team's future, and that's to draft a quarterback with our early pick in the first round. I'm a huge believer in Tua, but would also love Herbert if the line improved drastically this offseason. Let's take a look at what the line would look like now. At left tackle, you have Austin Jackson or Trey Pipkins. I'm just going to put Austin Jackson in there via the draft. Left guard, we've got Dan Feeney. Center, Mike Pouncey. Right guard, Trey Turner. And right tackle, Brian Bulaga. That is certainly impressive. And when you think about what the Chargers fans have been going through for so many years, that line would seem like it descended from the heavens and blessed the Bolts field for victory every single game. Like, that is an absolute huge jump from what we are used to. And before any of these moves, I would have been very worried about adding a rookie quarterback and throwing him to the Wolves with no protection. But behind this beast of a line, that would cost a mere $10 million in cap, as well as a second round pick. I could roll with that. I think whoever we start at quarterback deserves to have the best possible chance to succeed, and this is the way to do it. This is the way to propel ourselves into the playoffs. This is the way we contend with the Chiefs. This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
Just think about that for a second, guys. In the first round, let's say, realistically, we might get Justin Herbert. That's probably who we're going to get, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for us to get Tua Tagovailoa as well. So let's go ahead and say we've got Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert playing behind Austin Jackson, Dan Feeney, Mike Pouncey, Trey Turner, Brian Bulaga. I think Justin Herbert could succeed in that system. I think that given the time to operate, he could take over this offense in 3 or 4 games into the season and absolutely shine, because we already have the weapons on offense. Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I think he would have a really awesome rookie season if we fix this offensive line. But even if we don't go quarterback early in the first round, which I highly would advise, we could go after a guy like Isaiah Simmons, who I think if we're going to be going up against the Chiefs every season, we need that X factor defensive player that could definitely slow him down. Isaiah Simmons, first round. Austin Jackson, second round. Same story, different narrative. We would have to figure out the quarterback situation a little later, but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I think. That's why I think the depth at tackle this year is so important. It frees up so much opportunity and potential for us to do something in this draft without feeling like we're tied down to offensive tackle. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have a Jedrick Wills or a Mekhi Becton or somebody in the first round too. Obviously, our offensive line would be insane, would be absolutely set for a long time. But at the same time, you got to think about those skill positions and where we are in the NFL AFC West. So the only question mark in this whole algorithm and this whole thing is this man, Mike Pouncey. Now, Pouncey showed he still has what it takes to be an above average center in the league, but a neck injury cut his season short last year. And as of recording this video, he still has yet to be cleared to resume football activities. That's a huge red flag and something we should pay attention to. But again, if there ever was a year to fix our offensive line, it is now. And I feel we would find a way. Not to mention fill in Scott Quessenberry, who filled in for Mike Pouncey last year. He definitely wasn't bad, man. I thought he would be, a good option if we ever needed to move away from Mike Pouncey. I don't feel as bad with Scott Quessenberry there. So what do you guys think? Obviously, a lot of possibilities in this video. Do we go for Jack Conklin? Do we go for Brian Bulaga? Do we go, in the draft for Mekhi Becton or Jedrick Wills or Tristan Wirfs? Or do we look for a second round guy, maybe even a third round guy? I didn't even mention third round. If we have to trade our second round pick in order to trade up to get, let's say, Tua Tagovailoa, I could easily see someone like Ezra Cleveland playing that position, competing for left tackle with Trey Pipkins. That would be pretty crazy. I think there's a lot of upside with Ezra Cleveland. Just imagine our first 3 picks going as such. In the first round, the Chargers select Tua Tagovailoa via trade with the New York Giants. Second round, traded away to the Giants. Third round, Ezra Cleveland. We throw him in the mix with Trey Pipkins, Mike Pouncey, Trey Turner, Brian Bulaga. I'm feeling really good about that offense all of a sudden. And keep in mind, we only spent $10 million in cap to fix this line. We have so much more money to continue patching holes, not just on the line, but all over the damn team. We'll have money to re-sign our studs next season. Not to mention our cap situation is looking to be even better next year. So I think all things considered, this is the year to fix the offensive line. Whoever we put in at quarterback needs to have the best chance to succeed. I want it to be Tua Tagovailoa. Wouldn't mind a Justin Herbert. But even if we're rolling out with Tyrod Taylor for a while, if he has this line, he could take us to the playoffs. What do you guys think in the comments section below? Let me know. If you guys like me, think I'm a cool guy, hit us with a like and sub. Help this channel get discovered. We're getting very close to 10,000 subs. That gets me very excited. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director, and as always, stay frosty.